Welcome to Starkey Sound Bites. I'm your host, Dave Fabry, Starkey's Chief Hearing Health Officer. Now, before we dive in today, please go ahead and hit subscribe and like if you enjoy this session. But every time you do, you help us spread our mission of helping more people hear better and live better. Now, as many of our listeners know, connectivity is key when it comes to helping people with hearing loss. And Auracast is an exciting new technology that is truly game-changing. Today, we're in for a treat because our guest is a leading expert on this very topic. Henry Wong is the Director of Market Development for the Bluetooth Special Interest Group, or SIG as it's known, or SIG, I guess. They don't even abbreviate it. But Henry, welcome to Sound Bites.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here to talk about Auracast.
Well, it is truly one of my favorite topics these days because as an audiologist who's been in the profession and the discipline for now 43, going on 44 years, in a way, I will say that with the SIG group, the Bluetooth SIG group, it's felt at times like waiting for Godot. But having participated on standards and committees, this has to go. It's a tremendous effort to try to get people to agree upon a single standard that can be used for streaming across broad industries. And you know, it feels like it's been a long time coming, but now it's here. And we're delighted to really have a little bit of your time today to talk about a variety of topics on this in this area.
Yeah, so for those of you who are not familiar with the Bluetooth Special Interest Group, or the SIG, we are a standards development organization and a community of the world's most inventive companies and people collaborating to fulfill the essential need to connect. Together, we advance, protect, and promote Bluetooth technology, the global standard for connection. We have over 40,000 members, and these members pretty much are anybody who makes a product that has Bluetooth.
I'm grateful that now it has aligned and really now coming into our discipline, the audiologists and hearing instrument specialists. Since the early days, 2014, of the first made for iPhone hearing aids. I know as a practitioner that was an audiologist long before that it was really, that was a milestone for us because it was now the first time that connectivity, at least for iPhone users at first, and then shortly after Android users, without the need for an intermediary device, could connect their hearing aids directly to a smartphone. And given that early on, people thought of connectivity as it related to hearing aids as connecting to their phone, to their hearing aids so that they could communicate and have conversations on their phones by streaming. But, in many cases, we've seen that audiologists and hearing care professionals often spend more time troubleshooting connectivity than they do with the actual process of fitting the hearing aids, like when they were first trained. Why has historically Bluetooth been rather difficult for hearing aid users, and what has the industry been working on to fix that, to improve the ease of connection and connectivity?
Yeah, great question. I think in the past, there was some proprietary implementation, right? So there's certain platforms that are using made for MFI, there's other platforms using ASHA and so forth, and other proprietary implementation.
ASHA, I'm sorry to interrupt, but for some people who might not be as deep into it, ASHA is not a professional organization. We have an organization called the American Speech Hearing Association, but in your case, you're referring to Android streaming for hearing aids, correct?
That's right. Correct, Dave.
Thank you.
And if you look at the journey of Bluetooth, LE audio, and Auracast, Bluetooth has been leading innovation, audio innovation in the wireless audio for over 20 years. And people have been stretching the Bluetooth Classic the architecture to its limit. But years ago, a number of companies start looking ahead and planning for what's next in the wireless audio. And one group of members at the center of that initiative were a hearing aid manufacturer and organization from hearing industries. They approached the SIG and spearheaded the project that has now resulted in LE audio, or the next generation of Bluetooth audio. LE audio is a new flexible audio architecture that has been designed to support the next 20 years of audio innovation. LE audio brings a number of enhancements to the market today. 1, higher quality, lower power, better performance. 2, new standardization for hearing aids, be able to connect hearing aid to one standard. So it allows multiple flexibility choices for consumers or people who have hard of hearing. And 3, the introduction of Auracast Broadcast audio.
Thank you for that summary. And, when I think of the differences, as you mentioned, Bluetooth Classic has been used for a lot of commercial audio examples, and working in that low power, all day application with high fidelity. It's challenging as we've been in the hearing aid space, because people have they want to be able to wear the devices all day rather than, let's say, a few hours like someone would use a wireless headset for. And so can you summarize briefly, you've already summarized nicely the difference between LE audio and BLE, if you will, what has been used since 2014 and shortly after. But then Bluetooth Classic really wasn't developed at the start, if I'm correct, for hearing aid applications as an ideal, but it did offer, let's say, more ubiquitous or more ease of connecting to Android and iPhone platforms. Will LE audio help with that connecting across the different hearing aid platforms and also the different phone platforms as a start? For many practitioners, they simply want to say, why is LE audio, you've listed 3 reasons there, but why is LE audio better than BLE or Bluetooth Classic in a hearing aid application?
Yeah, so for a hearing aid application, it provides new codec. So the classic audio are using what we call SBC as a codec. The new LE audio architecture uses a new codec called LC3. And what LC3 is provide much better audio quality, lower power consumption to allow the device to last longer, especially for hearing aid, to allow users to be able to use hearing aid for the whole day.
Yeah, that's really fundamentally what we're seeing, is that in addition to that phone use, people increasingly, especially those younger patients, want to be connected to all sorts of different environments in their ecosystem as they walk about their day. Can you talk about a couple use cases of what you might imagine or what you see as being the most popular cases beyond the phone, where someone who's using hearing aids might benefit from this technology and the connectivity that it provides?
Yeah, sure. So before I provide some real-world examples of Auracast integrations, maybe let me step back and let me explain what Auracast is.
That'd be great.
Auracast Broadcast audio is a new Bluetooth capability that will deliver a life-changing audio experience to help your world sound better. This is not the traditional Bluetooth experience. There are no pairing involved. A single transmitter can broadcast high-quality audio to an unlimited number of nearby hearing devices simultaneously. Now, when you look at Auracast integration, there are the devices and the location. Let me talk about the devices first. We believe Auracast Broadcast audio feature will find its way into all Bluetooth-enabled audio devices. Today, pretty much every major brand has devices with Auracast support. An Auracast transmitter can be anything from your smartphone to the TV, tablet, laptops, and even to a public announcement system. Auracast receivers are hearing aids, earbuds, headphones, speaker, and any hearing instruments. And as for location integration, we're really pleased with the deployment momentum. Thousands of Auracast locations today is deployed across 19 countries.
Yeah, it's been really fun. I still work with patients in my role. I work in R&D, but as a component of that is to help ensure that the needs of the patient are met as we're developing the new technology. I still work with patients today, and as I upload them with our latest technology, we have a device, Omega AI, that incorporates that Auracast Finder. And talk a little bit about the ease of connectivity that Auracast does provide. You've alluded to the broadcast and one-to-many applications. And to me, the one thing that patients are immediately responding to is it's almost as easy as just searching out and finding a Wi-Fi connection. And that ease of finding that in the wild is something I send my patients out on a wild goose chase, if you will, when they're in a situation that is like one that you described, and to look to see if there is broadcast Auracast streams available, if there are broadcast streams available.
Yeah, that's right. So an analogy that we use, as you mentioned, Dave, is just like when someone say Wi-Fi for audio, you take out your phone, either on the phone or the app, you hit search, and you'll be able to search for any nearby Auracast broadcasts or transmitters. And if there's multiple transmitters or broadcasts, you're able to see them. And all the user have to do is select which one that he or she wants to listen into. And the beauty of this is the audio comes directly from the transmitter or the broadcast source directly to your hearing device, be it hearing aid or earbuds or headphone. It does not go through the phone. So some of the use case you can imagine if you go to a gym or a bar that have multiple TVs and they have incorporated these TVs with Auracast, then you're able to take out your phone as an Auracast assistant to be able to discover different Auracasts and be able to listen in to the one that you choose.
You mentioned that there are already thousands of Auracast broadcast transmitters being used around the world. Are there resources for professionals or end users who might be listening to this podcast to find out if there are locations that they plan to visit where Auracast transmitters are already in use?
Yeah, that's a great question. We at the Bluetooth.com/Auracast, we have an Auracast location profile page. And what this page is pretty much highlights some of the location that has deployed Auracast as a use case study. Now, this is not a comprehensive list. It does not include all 1,000 of them, but it includes location that has registered with the Bluetooth SIG for us to promote them on the Auracast location profile pages.
Let's say one of my patients who are familiar with going out and seeking to find those Auracast transmitters, if they discover a location that isn't on the list or a repository, is there a way that we can crowdsource this where people can put in locations where they have experienced the benefits of broadcast Auracast, and then so that others can benefit from it as well?
Oh, definitely. Again, if you go to Bluetooth.com/Auracast, there's a location registration page.
Okay.
There's only like five fields there for a location that has deployed Auracast. We encourage them to register with us so we could track it and we could promote the location with these location profile case studies that we're doing.
For me, as an audiologist, I'm excited about the applications for hearing aids, but we also know from the history that when telecoils were used in places of worship and in other public spaces, it often was met, in some cases, with resistance by the people who owned those spaces because, they had to install a loop or they had equipment that they had to maintain, and it was only for people with hearing loss that had hearing aids that were equipped with a telecoil. One of the reasons that personally I'm so excited about Auracast and its potential, as you mentioned at your opening remarks, that this is in the goal really for the SIG is to raise awareness for this as a tool of anyone who's using wireless audio speakers or headsets of any form. And the fact that people with hearing loss or with normal hearing can use this Auracast technology, I think will really help with embracing and populating Auracast transmitters throughout the world.
That's right. We believe Auracast Broadcast audio feature will find its way into all Bluetooth-enabled audio devices. And any location where there is a public address system or sound system can add Auracast to enhance the visitor experience for people with all level of hearing health. But we're already seeing great momentums in the market across both device and locations. ABI research has forecast around 1 million locations will have Auracast by the year 2029. And it takes time, right? I wish I could snap my finger. It takes time. I wish I could snap my finger and have every single location across the globe that has Auracast, but these will take time. And also, I want to also add is the there are a huge number of people who have hearing loss but not using hearing aid. And one of the biggest reasons is stigma of using a hearing aid. When people think about hearing aid, they think about, medical equipment. With Auracast, we could help mitigate that by thinking these are not medical devices. These are tech devices for consumers.
Thank you for bringing both of those up, because I think they're very important points to make. And I can tell you that when professionals come for training to our facility in Minnesota, we will now, when they're on the R&D tour, use a wireless transmitter, and many of them are fitted with products that are Auracast compatible. And so being able to go on the tours of our facility, and no matter where they are, whether they're in the back of the pack or in the front, they can hear me or whomever is the tour guide as if they're right next to us. And even another side benefit was when we go in anechoic chambers or reverberant chambers, they can actually pick up on the acoustics of it, even if they're not coming into the chamber, because the sound quality is that good, and they can even pick up on the nuances of the conversation. And we've heard that repeatedly from people. And then plus they're not having to use these nasty headsets that are used by everybody and his or her brother. But it's a BYOD, as you say, to then have that be ready to work on museum tours or other areas. And one other area that I want to just hit on is, the hearing aid industry. We spent decades trying to improve speech understanding and noise. It remains the single biggest concern, whether people are struggling with a decision to wear hearing aids, or even it's the most challenging listening environment that we encounter. We've talked about tours and airports and things like that, but could this ubiquitous wireless access through Auracast ultimately have a significant impact on communication in the next generation of hearing aid signal processing? And I would just point to, again, I crept on your LinkedIn profile a little bit and saw that you at one time were working as a basketball coach. And could you think about using it at a live sporting event where there's a lot of noise, and to actually be able to understand the announcer or other activities going on? But are there other examples you can think of where Auracast would interface with hearing aid signal processing to help beyond streaming functions, but thinking about in restaurants or noisy communication environments?
Definitely. I think one of the use cases for people to be able to hear better or hear the best, right? Anyone, not just hearing aid user, even normal people at their restaurant or airport. I mean, how many times for those people who travel sitting at the gate when the public announcement comes out, or there's a gate change? I mean, I currently don't wear any hearing aid, but I can't even listen. I can't even hear what they're saying, right? Wouldn't it be great if the broadcast audio comes clearly directly to my hearing device, my earbuds, be able to listen clearly to what the announcement is saying with the noisy ambient noise surrounding.
So what do you see as the most significant benefits? You've already highlighted and predicted 1 million transmitters in pretty short order in just a few years. But how do you think Auracast will benefit the average hearing aid user in 5 to 10 years, kicking out even a little bit further into the future? Why should they be excited? Why should practitioners and end users be excited about Auracast and the future potential of this technology?
Yes. So three major use cases, right? One, be able to hear your best, and for them to be able to receive clear audio directly to their hearing device. Two, unmute your world. So what I mean by unmute your world, meaning be able to listen into these silent TVs, right? Be it at the gym, in the waiting area, or the airport, for example. And three, share your audio. Be able to share your audio with friends and family, right? So there are products out in the market that is a portable mic streamer, right? So be able to put that somewhere or clip it on yourself. When you talk, you're broadcasting audio to all your friends and family.
Yeah, I love that idea. I'd love to do that with just the producers here, so that I would literally have their ear and they would have to listen to me, or at least hear me. Listening is a different issue. How can clinicians promote Auracast in their communities? Are you, in your role, are you providing input or guidance to them, and are there resources available for the practitioner who wants to sort of use this in their community to raise awareness and perhaps even look at assembling Auracast transmitters for various applications that you've been talking about?
Yeah, clinician can play a direct and practical role by, one, educating and demonstrating use case of Auracast to their patient. Two, engaging and influencing location venues. We have advocacy materials on, again, bluetooth.com/Auracast. And three, advocating through professional and community channels, right? Audiologists, events, and so forth. I think the clinicians are critical for spreading the word about Auracast broadcast audio because they are the trusted voice and catalyst who connects patient, device, and venues, driving both awareness and real-world Auracast adoption.
Well, that summarizes it very well, and I think I'll leave it there. Henry, I can't tell you, thank you enough for being with us here today to help have this conversation, because I think a lot of people, in the same way that we're living in a world where sometimes AI overload or AI fatigue is hitting all of us, I think within our discipline, this Auracast, it's out there and it's still a little scary for some people, but I think you've really helped dispel a lot of the myth about this and how that ease and ubiquitous connectivity, sound quality, outstanding battery life will help their patients better appreciate the way that they can connect to the people and the things and the places that they still struggle with, even when using modern hearing aids.
Thank you, Dave, for having me. Pleasure.
Thank you. And thanks to our Sound Bites listeners. We hope to hear you again really soon and may be able to demonstrate this technology if you happen to visit our campus. Thanks so much.